This is a Rides and Drives test drive of the 2021 VW Arteon SEL R-Line. The VW Arteon is a large 5-passenger sedan that competes with the Volvo V60, Infiniti Q50, Acura TLX, and a number of other vehicles. The 2021 VW Arteon feels like the right car at the wrong time. It's a really well put together sedan. It drives great. It has all the technology that you want. It's comfortable. It's roomy. It looks good. But people are buying SUVs now, and it really becomes a challenge to sell a sedan when people want that extra utility. All VW Arteons have a 2-liter turbocharged engine that makes 268 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. They all have an 8-speed automatic transmission with the Tiptronic manual shift system, so this does have paddle shifters. And you can get either front-wheel drive or 4Motion all-wheel drive. This one is equipped with all-wheel drive. This is the SEL R-Line model, which is that mid-tier trim. SE is the base trim, and then you have the SEL Premium R-Line, which gets you a few extra features like 20-inch wheels, a heated steering wheel, ventilated seats, and a few extra speakers for the stereo system. This is a 5-passenger sedan. The interesting thing is this, similar to the Kia Stinger, has a hatchback, not a traditional trunk. So there's more room in that, but there's also a little more noise in the cabin that comes through that hatchback. VW Arteon has multiple drive modes, so you can go from eco to comfort to sport and even individual, where you can set things yourself. Those drive modes change everything from transmission shift points to suspension damping to throttle tip-in, so it gives you a different dynamic depending on how you want to drive. You can really feel the difference between the drive modes in this, especially the suspension settings between comfort and sport. It really does tighten the dampers up quite a bit. Cruising along at highway speeds, there is a little bit of interior noise. You certainly hear the highway expansion joints, and you can feel all the bumps. There's not much wind noise, but you do hear a lot of road noise. Mileage for this is pretty good. You're 20 miles per gallon around town, 34 on the highway. I've probably been averaging a little less than that in the high 20s in the time that I've had it, which is perfectly reasonable for a large sedan like this one. I really like the way the Arteon drives. You put this thing in sport mode and crank up the engine, and it really does perform well. Interesting thing, this is really an old school turbocharged engine in that you do have to get it up high in the RPMs to take advantage of its power. Peak horsepower comes on at 5,500 RPMs, and even peak torque doesn't come on till almost 2,000 RPMs, which means it feels a little sluggish off the line. I like the way this car drives. I like the comfort of it. I like the styling of it. There's a lot of really good stuff in here. If you buy this expecting something that's comfortable and gives you some driving satisfaction, you're going to be pleasantly surprised. This is very much a German car in terms of its interior design. It is minimalist, very much form follows function. So you've got this nice wide, long, low dash, and you can really see the infotainment screen is down out of the way, so It doesn't really bother you while you're driving. Overall, the interface is good. This does have capacitive touch, which I've seen on a few cars lately that kind of surprises me because you don't have the tactile sensation of a button, so it's a little harder to find when you're moving from, when you're trying to find the function that you're looking for. There is plenty of rear seat legroom in this, even for me, but headroom, because of the coupe-like design, is a little compromised. I can kind of feel my hair rubbing up against the headliner back there. I'm struggling a little bit with the technology. And this may be me, maybe old guy, I don't know. I'm not a Luddite. I've used a lot of different systems, but I plugged in my phone, tried to make some phone calls. I could dial out. People could hear me talking, but I couldn't hear them. And then I unplugged it, restarted the car, did it again, and it worked just fine. I didn't do anything differently between the two. So things like that are kind of annoying. Another interesting little nit is the rear hatch. It's big, it's long, it's heavy, and in this one the latch seemed to stick a little bit as well, so it was harder to lift up. Pricing for the VW Arteon starts at around $38,000 for the SE front-wheel drive. Go to the SEL R-Line model like this one with all-wheel drive and you're at about $44,000. Go all the way to the SEL Premium R-Line and you're going to be at about $48,000. So where does the Arteon stack up? Well, again, like every category, you've got a lot of good options here. This feels like it lays a little on the value side of that, which is great. You can save a few $1,000s. It's not as sporty as the Acura. It's not quite as, I'd say, luxurious as the Volvo, but it's a Volkswagen, and it does what Volkswagens do really well, which is offers a nice balance of performance and comfort without a lot of fancy frills. If I were looking for a sedan between $40,000 and $50,000, I'd definitely put this on my shopping list. So that's the 2021 VW Arteon SEL R-Line. Tell us what you think in the comments. For more information, check out ridesanddrives.com and make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. For Rides and Drives, I'm Harvey Briggs, and I'll see you somewhere down the road.